asleep.
They like.
Next day,
What's he
my
doing?
brother woke me up
Oh.
and said that it was time to go because
So this video is 2 hotel horror stories animated by Wansee Entertainment. I'm glad I'm saying this now and not. I say this now, but I might be in a hotel in a couple weeks, so I'm nervous. But we're gonna see what's in store. At least this is not right before our Miami trip because it would probably definitely scare me. I do still get haunted by the brain-eating amoeba video. However, I did not have any water splash in my nose when we were in Miami, so I think I'm okay. But this is by Wansee Entertainment. Link is in the description box below if you are checking it on YouTube. Also, check out our link for the Twitch. We be popping. We be doing these reacts live, and we'd love for you to join us in our Christian Minecraft server of a stream that we have on Twitch on Beyonce's holy internet. Just love and light. Love and light. Don't look at the chat. Don't look at the chat. Okay, anyways, let's get into it. Hotel horror story. Inner world.
this happened to me when I was 19.
Okay.
And my brother Robert was 21.
All right.
He took me to Arizona and we had to stop at a gas station. We bought our snacks, and when we got out of there, he said he heard someone yell at him. But we didn't really mind.
Okay.
So we started driving. We switched seats.
Okay. Oh goodness. Your state? It's not innocent. She's tortured. No. This is a scary video. I already said you're gonna get a scary video. My thing though is, it's the writing. The writing of this. Like, again, I understand that these can be submitted stories, but we gotta rewrite them. Because like, he's like, we heard a scream, but we didn't mind. We driving. We switch seats. Like, let's kind of like re-narrate this. Rewrite the script.
He said he heard someone yell at him.
Also, you heard someone yell,
really
and you weren't like, hey, let me stop and see who's yelling at me?
We switched seats.
It could have been something important.
Fall asleep. After 4 hours, Robert said that he had to relieve himself. So we stopped somewhere.
Use the bathroom? Oh, maybe he has to poop?
He went away to do his job.
Okay.
I was playing with my Switch.
All right.
Until I heard the exact same yelling. I thought it was my brother, but it didn't sound like him.
Okay.
And when he came back, we heard a crying sound.
What?
We were both shocked, so we just drove away. When we got to the hotel in Tucson, Arizona.
I'm not saying that you have to do investigation, but did you look around you? Like, hey, I don't see nobody here. We heard somebody crying. Did you check your vehicle? Because what if there's somebody in your trunk, you know? If there's somebody in your trunk, you need to like get them out of your trunk. Maybe they're under your car. Like, why did he sound weirded out but about that? Just say he had to pee. Yeah, like, why did he say relieve himself? And he didn't seem like he wanted to say relieve himself. He should have just said he had to pee or poop, you know? Or go to the bathroom. He could just said he had to go to the bathroom.
To play and eat. When we got back, there was a scratch in his truck. We were wondering who would do this, but since it was late, we just went to our rooms to sleep.
They like...
Next day,
what's he doing?
My brother woke me up.
Oh.
Said that it was time to go because
the way no, you see what it looks like, okay? You saw what it looks like. I was like, what is happening? I think did you hear me? I think I verbally said like, what is happening? And then he said he's waking him up. I was like, okay, all right, Dutty. No, not me.
Hey, yo.
No, not me. I'm not the only one.
we will be late to our next stop. I said okay, and we went our way. While driving, I also had to relieve myself. So I
What?
got out and was
pee?
walking to a secluded area.
Why is Brother smiling?
When I got there, I saw a tall guy just
Oh.
staring at me.
Oh, wait. Oh, that's not his brother?
A big smile across his face. I ran and was scared. I
What is
hoped back
happening?
inside the truck and I told him to drive. He was asking me what happened and I just told him about the man. And we decided to go to another hotel to sleep.
Okay.
While sleeping, around 3 in the morning, I woke up and I saw something in the closet.
Okay.
I was scared to look, but I took out a bat from my bag and walked up to the closet.
You just happen to have a bat with you?
Heard screams inside of it. I
Okay.
woke my brother and we got our bags to leave.
Well, hey.
When we were halfway to our destination,
Dipped.
I turned on the news and heard that there was an incident in the hotel that we were in.
Really?
In the same room that we were in, a man and a woman had been murdered.
Okay, so yeah, this isn't a real story. This is not a real story. Because if you were in the room, just gonna do some math here. If you were in the room and it happened in the same room you're in, and it's on the radio, then that means that if you were in the room, that means it didn't happen while you were in the room. Right? Or is it, because he said the same night and he heard the screaming. Did they leave and then the news found out like right after? Okay, yeah, we're all confused. Okay. Or if it recently happened, the room or hotel would be closed off. Yeah, if it happened right before, it would be closed off. And that would make sense for it being on the news. If it happened the same night, like when they're driving, maybe the story's just not told right, because maybe it happened the same night right after they left. Or did it happen years ago? Because if it happened years ago, then yeah, I have math face right now. I have math face. This is let's take it back again.
In the hotel that we were in. In the same room that we were in, a man and a woman had been murdered. We decided to go back, so we did.
Go back?
My brother asked the man what had happened, and he said that a tall man went inside the room 207 by climbing with his bare hands.
Okay.
And 3 hours later, 2 guys ran out, and before he said anything else, I told him what happened to us. He said after we left, a couple went inside the same room.
Oh, okay.
30 minutes later, there was a big splat of blood on the window.
Oh, so
that's why I called the cops, but the man was nowhere to be found.
Oh.
I told myself that it was the same man that I saw. And even now, this incident still gives me the creeps.
But you didn't see, he tells himself that this is just not really well written or narrated. It could have been really, really good. Why are you going back? That's one question, right? Why are you going back? Oh, you want to be timed out? Let me time you out. How do I do this again? Is it T and out? What was your name again? Oh crap, it went away. Oh, Notorious. So yeah. Okay, one thing that doesn't make sense. Why would you go back if you heard it out on the news? Why wouldn't you just call? If you really want to know, why didn't you just call and ask? Why'd you drive back? You're already halfway to your destination. It makes no sense. Then the okay. Yeah, it wasn't really good. It wasn't really well written or narrated. A lot of the narration didn't make sense. I feel like if this is a true story, right? You got to rework it to tell a good story. You're already animating it. You're going to narrate it, right? So rewrite it so that way to tell a better story, so that it's a better view for the viewer to watch, because it's just it was kind of like,
hey yo.
Okay, all right, okay. Well, let's see what the next one's like. That was kind of a hotel story by Susan Ranu.
Pearl Hotel was built in 1920. It belonged to a wealthy widowed countess, Sarah Ann.
What is
It
this
is
accent?
said the countess was extremely beautiful. Her late husband, the count, was said to be old, very old, and there was a rumor rounding the streets stating that the countess was a true vixen who had married the old count for his money and, after a while, killed him, becoming the sole heir to all the riches.
Yikes.
Anyway, Sarah Ann lived a lavish life surrounded by servants and maids, hosting important events and even attending the most extravagant balls.
Got that money.
Eventually, her lifestyle caught up to her, and money began to go dangerously low. She then decided to transform her mansion into her hotel, and as luck may see it, she became more rich than before.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Her
That's good.
beauty and wealth attracted a lot of bachelors. Well, one of them managed to catch her attention. His name was David Lancelot. Very little is written about this man's background in historical journals. All we know is Sarah Ann fell head over heels in love with him, and within a very short time, they got married.
He was charming.
Everything seemed to be going smoothly, but even barely a year had passed when David Lancelot was pronounced dead. The young countess became a widow yet again, but this time, the suspicions had mostly turned to true belief that the countess was a cold-blooded killer. Thorough investigations was carried out, and to her dismay, the court had its decision against her and found her guilty of murder. Officers had found out David Lancelot was a long-term con artist, and in fact was planning to absurd her wealth and escape with the help of his brother Jerome. Things, however, turned around when she learned about his plans and poisoned his food. Her most trusted maid, Kia, testified against her and stating that she mixed the poison into the food and told her not to tell anyone.
Oh, goodness.
Despite her wails and desperate
She shouldn't have said anything.
Sarah Ann, at the age of 24, was sentenced to life imprisonment.
She shouldn't have told the maid.
Months later, the ownership of the hotel was handed over to the late Count's grandchildren. Exactly 3 years later, Sarah Ann escaped from prison. It is said that she was never found. Did she return to the hotel? Nobody knows, and she still remained missing till today, never to be seen or to be heard of again.
Well, I mean, is it...
Well,
okay, that was a weird walk. But also, she's probably dead now.
And progressed to becoming one of the most desired holiday destinations.
Also, yes, how did she escape?
People flocked from far-off places to see this fine haven. What drew them to this place? Was it the fine services? The amazing decor? The varying cuisines? The wonderful views from their rooms? Or was it the history of the hotel? Was it the
people
fact
like that stuff?
A murder had taken place attracted the large number of guests? Were people rolling in torrents?
People do like that.
Of paranormal activity? Was the curiosity of trying to find out whether the hotel is haunted or not bringing in so many guests?
It's possible.
Well, we were going to know about the reason soon.
Okay.
In
that was
1960,
weirdly said.
The nightmares began. This was the year when women who were guests at the hotel began to go missing, and they were eventually found dead. According to the statements of the police officials in the newspaper, who did not give the exact description of state of the bodies which were found, but simply stated that this was a work of the sickest mind, 8 women went missing in a span of 6 months. None of these women had anything in common.
In 6 months?
Except for the fact that they had black hair, light eyes, light skin, and a slender body. They had an uncanny resemblance to each other and almost appeared to be related to each other. The weirdest fact was that these were the exact description of Sarah Ann. An old portrait of her confirmed this fact. Who would be killing women resembling Sarah Ann 60 years after the incident? The hotel was ultimately shut down by the court as investigations continued.
Oh, it could be the men that she killed. Either the second one or the first one. Well, she did confirm kill the second one, so maybe the second one.
Continued, but every progress led to a dead end. Ultimately, the killer was never caught, and the case was closed. The hotel also remained closed for months. The original owners sold it, and it was completely restructured.
Goodness.
Every single piece of furniture, artwork, etc. were thrown out.
And they
10
burned.
years
Okay.
later, in 1970, the hotel was reopened with a new name, Grand Gem Hotel.
Oh, okay.
The new owners assured the public that the hotel had
He looks like
undergone
a total
tremendous
tool.
transformation. Anything that was present
Brand
from the
new.
1920s was gotten rid of, and they had priests who conducted a spiritual purification.
Oh, okay.
The headlines of the newspaper indicated it was
very
an
unique thing to
exorcism,
share.
which is supposed to deem that the place is now safe from evil.
But that's also going to make
The
more people
hotel
want to come
operated
because it was
normally
exercised.
For not even a month when strange occurrences began to take place.
Like
At
what?
first, there were complaints made by women claiming that their belongings went missing.
Okay.
Other times, they would state things such as fine clothes, jewelry, shoes, or flowers would appear in their bedrooms. They would
What?
also receive cards with messages on them.
What did the
Afterwards,
messages say?
they stated they were being pursued by someone. They felt scared.
Mm.
During their stay, these women faced fatal accidents. They all had one thing in common, yes, their uncanny resemblance to Sarah Ann.
Okay.
Well, this time no one died yet, but
All
the
right, that's
hotel had
good.
to compensate for their injuries as they all claimed they were physically assaulted by an unseen being.
Oh,
They
my
were left
goodness.
with bruises and
Unseen?
even bones. The
What?
biggest blow was yet to come. During their anniversary party, a fire broke out, and everyone burnt to ashes. The firefighters tried very hard, but couldn't save anyone.
Everyone?
Afterwards, they tried to determine where the fire had started, but couldn't determine. This time, the property was
Everyone?
captured by the government and closed down. 5 years later, it was turned into a primary school, but dangerous mishaps continued to happen throughout the years.
I'm mad that
Then
I'm mad that the building got burnt down, and they're like, "Hey, let's build a school." If you don't build I mean, what would be an okay building to build on top of the grounds of like a burnt down a jailhouse? My thing is, I was gonna say a penitentiary, but this justice system ain't the greatest, so I'm sure that there'll be people in there that were falsely accused. Happens a lot for our people. So a morgue, boom, a morgue. A morgue is perfect. They're already dead, so build a morgue. That's the one. Build a morgue.
Finally, in the year 2001, the whole building was torn down and the entire land was turned into an enormous graveyard.
Oh, okay. That
It is
works
said
too.
when the school
The
was
graveyard.
inaugurated, which was around 1985 till 2001, there were reported cases of multiple accidents, 5 missing females, and 2 murder cases.
Oh my gosh.
Before the number of fatalities increased, it was best
Okay.
for the hotel to be torn down. From 2001 till today, there have been no such incidents. How could there be
Okay.
any cases? The place is now being accommodated by the dead.
By the dead, yeah.
What do you think could have been behind all these mishaps? Some believed it was Sarah Ann herself. They
No.
said that she never left. She had been living in hiding within the walls of the hotel and became determined to punish the town people.
But killing
this
people that look
theory
like her,
seems
though?
highly illogical.
Right,
The
right.
murders began happening 60 years after the actual incident.
Right.
How could an aged woman do all this?
Well,
Some say it was a fanatic serial killer who was obsessed with the history of the hotel and was living out their own sick fantasy.
that makes sense.
While others claimed that it was the ghost of David Lancelot
Ay.
in search of her to avenge his cruel death.
Which, that was an odd pause, wasn't it? That was an odd pause. Is cruel, right? He's cruel. Period. Enter. Death. That was weird. I hate going past cemeteries. It's like I get flashbacks and chills. Not gonna talk about the flashbacks because this is a peace and tranquility stream. Yes. His cruel. ... Death. That was weird. This was out of the two, way better story. It was still like some things were weirdly said. Like they said that the girls that were at the hotel, like the later, not the first group that kept dying, but the second group that were saying that weird things was happening. They said fatalities, but then they said nobody died. But fatality it means death. Fatality means death. So that was bad. But I don't think I'm being too picky. You could just word that differently. I would say the second story was way better. Was definitely interesting. You want to be jump scared? That's good for you. I don't want to be jump scared. I'm good. It did creep me out, so I did have the creep out factor. I want to pose the question to you guys. Who do you think it is? Do you think it was a living Jane Ann? Do you think it's the ghost of Sarah Ann, the ghost of Sarah Ann, or the guy, or a serial killer? Do you think it was an actual serial killer that was just in love with the history and that's kind of working out his thing? Because that's the most logical one, you know, especially since they were all dying in like a very sick way. But as out of the three, I would say that maybe it could be the guy that she had killed, just trying to get his revenge back, you know? That's what I think it could be. Do you think it's the man? I think it was a murderer. I don't believe in ghosts. That's cool. That's cool if that's what you believe or don't believe. Was it before the times of surveillance cameras? Maybe. But also, even if surveillance cameras existed, it doesn't mean that they would have necessarily had any at the hotel. You think it was a curse on the building? Also plausible. Also plausible. I think the cemetery was the best thing. Morgue was good, but there would still be... I think a morgue and a cemetery are kind of interchangeable, you know? So I do think that building a cemetery was a good idea. But yeah, let me know down below which one do you think it was for the second story. And let me know if you liked the first story, because the first story was kind of... But let me know your thoughts down below. On to the last video.